Okay, welcome. Sorry I'm not here today to go through this with you, but basically what I need you to know is I want you go through these notes, and then I want you to complete the worksheet after you go through the notes. But after you fill out these notes, I want you to check in. I'm going to take a formative grade on that as well. So basically, I really want you to hear me talk here. This lesson can be taught differently. I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to let you use a calculator with this. So that changes how I kind of teach this lesson. But hopefully you'll be more confident with or without a calculator with some of the stuff we're doing here. So I'm going to show you how to do it all. All right, first of all, 25%. I hope you guys are just thinking about stuff. Like 25%. Your whole life, if you've heard 25%, I'm hoping you can be like, oh, what does that mean? Well, that means over here, that would be 1/4 of something. Like a quarter, 25 cents, a quarter. What is that as a decimal? Oh, well, that's 0.25. Okay, well, here's the deal. What comes first in the alphabet, D or P? Hopefully you're saying D. All right, I'm going to give you a little visual that I'm going to use here to hopefully help you. Here's D and here's P. If you're ever going from a decimal to a percent, you move the decimal to the right. But if you're ever going from a percent to a decimal, you move it to the left. And you always move it 2 places, okay? So look at this right here. I'm going from a percent to a decimal. So starting at a percent, going to a decimal, I'm going to move the decimal to the left. Well, where's the decimal starting? It starts right here. Always on a percentage. It's like 25.0%. So it starts here, and I move it 1, 2 to the left, and I end up with 0.25. If I would have given you 0.25 and said go to a percent, I'd have been starting it as decimal, going to percent, so I would have moved it to the right. Okay, so hopefully that helps. This visual has helped a lot of kids who have struggled with this concept. So here we go, 0.125. What am I given? I'm given a decimal. So I'm going from a decimal to a percent. Notice that's different than the chart. The chart has percent and then decimal, it doesn't matter. I'm going from a decimal to a percent, so I'm going to move it right 2 places, and it's that simple. If you think of it like that, it would be 12.5%. Well, what is 0.125 as a fraction? Well, you can definitely always do these problems by hand. Like up here, 0.25, I could have said 25 out of what? Well, tens, hundredths. I could have done 25 out of 100. And what does that reduce to? It reduces to 1/4. This would be 125, not out of 100 this time, but out of 1,000. And I can go reduce that here, okay? But I want to show you on the calc how nice this is. If we go to 0.125, I have a calculator here on the Inspire, 0.125. And then all I got to do is go to my menu, and then I can go to number, and I'll, right there, option 2, approximate to fraction. Boom. Do you want to approximate to the fraction? Yes, I do. I hit enter, and boom, they'll tell you 1/8. Okay, so that's great. So that's all I have to do for that. So I got 1/8 there. Okay, now this one we're starting with 5/7. So again, hopefully you have some number sense. 7 over 7 is 1, so this has to be a little bit smaller than 1. 3.5 out of 7 would be 50%, so it's bigger than that. All right, so let's just look at it again on the calculator, showing you here. 5 divided by 7, enter. Ah, man, all it does is give me that. So all you got to do, remember, is do 5 divided by 7 and hit Control and then enter, and it'll give you that decimal. So 0.714286. So I'm going to go back to my paper here, and I'm going to say 0.74, forgot, 0.714, sorry, 0.714286, and then to go to a decimal, or I'm sorry, go to a percent. If I'm at a decimal, I move it 2 places over to get to a percent. So this is approximately 71.43%. Okay, so now one thing I see kids do is they make that 71% or 70%. Like, don't round too much. You should get to a level of specificity of, let's say, 2 decimals for these percentages. So try to do that. Okay, 300%. Be very careful here. If you just follow this, it's pretty simple. I'm starting at a percent and I'm going to a decimal. So where do I move it? I move it to the left. Starting at a percent, go to a decimal, move it to the left. So where is it though? It's right here. So move it to the left 2 places, and my decimal is actually 3. Okay, another way to think about this is, what is 100%? I think everybody would say it's 1. 100% is 1, so 300% is 3. Really slow down and think about it when those percentages get higher than 100%. It is possible to have 300% of something in many scenarios, especially with making money. That'd be nice. All right, so now what's 3 as a fraction? Don't overthink it, it's 3. Okay, you don't need to write it as a fraction, it's 3. 3 over 1, yes, but it's 3. All right, 0.004. So again, starting at a decimal, here we go, starting at a decimal, going to a percent. So what does that mean? Move it to the right. So take this decimal and go right 1, 2, and it's actually 0.4, not 0.4. 0.004 is not the same as 0.4, but it's the same as 0.4%. So 0.4% of something is the same as 0.004. Okay, so then as a fraction, again, we'll get some practice here, 0.004. So if I type in 0.004, menu, number, approximate to fraction, hit enter, and that is, I didn't type it in correctly, you should know that's not right, 0.004, there we go, menu, number, approximate to fraction, hit enter, 1 over 250. Okay, so this one here is 1 over 250. Okay, 2 2/3. Please realize that says 2 2/3. Watch me do this on the calculator. If I type this on my calculator, just like this, 2, control, divide, 3, whoops, it's jumping around on me. Okay, 2 divided by 3. Some people will do this. They'll be like, let me start over. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is what I want. 2, and then hit control, divide, 3. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Okay, so I'm trying to get this in here to where I've seen students put this in before. All right, I've seen kids put it in like this before. Please look here, 2 2/3. All right, remember, before we even start here, 2 2/3. Think about putting 2 2/3 cup of flour into a recipe. That would be 2 full cups and then 2/3 of another. So 2.66666 hopefully is what you can see. But when I hit enter here, it says 4/3, which is the same as 1.3 repeating. So wait a minute, what's it doing? And you can see in the visual display here, the calculator, the Inspire, doesn't do mixed numbers. What they do is they multiply when two things are next to each other. So what you have to do is you need to be very careful and realize, what are you doing? You're putting in 2, right? You're putting in 2 of something, 2 cups, and you're adding to that 2/3. So you can put in a mixed number like this on the Inspire calculator, but it has to be the way it's supposed to be, which is that. I forgot to hit control, sorry. So it'd be 2.6 repeating. Now, some of your other calculators, non-Inspire, actually have the fraction button, the quote-unquote famous fraction button, and you can do that. The other way to do it is just to look at this right here. What's 3 times 2 plus 2? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, 8/3. So look at that, it becomes 8/3. So you've done that before. Hopefully, you know, I would suggest when you have a mixed number like this to convert it back to what's called an improper fraction, and then just do 8 divided by 3. So you don't have to remember to do this addition thing, okay? But long story short, let's get back to our sheet. We got 2, like 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. I'm telling you to think about it like this. Think about it like this. Throw it in your calculator, and what will you get as a decimal? You get 2.666667. And what happens when I move that decimal, you know, from a decimal to a percent, so I go to the right? This is actually approximately 266.67%. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the video here to make sure it's not too large, and I'll record a part 2.